So, it is officially the end of Outriders, and I say that for a couple of reasons. This game has now been available for people to play for the last 4 months. If you don't own Game Pass, only the Game Pass on Xbox, then you would have had to pay £60 for this game. They've had sales, you can probably find it cheap on key sites and everything, but this game has had so much controversy around it because it's had game-breaking issue after game-breaking issue, inventories being wiped, damage mitigation not working properly, server issues for 4 days after launch. It's just been an absolute nightmare for the development team, the people that are making the game, because no matter what they do, they always seem to break something else when they try and fix something. And it's now got to the point of the Steam charts showing less than 2,000 players in a 24-hour peak, unless that is over the weekend. This is concurrent players across the whole of Steam worldwide. So in a 24-hour window, there are no more than currently 1,840 people that have played the game at the same time. If you take a look at Avengers, when they released their new raids type content that was still dreadful, but when they released that, they jumped up to about 10,000 players concurrently, and they've dipped back down to about 7k. But for the first week or two after content, you're going to have a bigger player base, even if it is only for a short period of time. But with everything going on within Outriders, all of the patches and stuff that they need to try and focus on, they don't have as much time as they would have liked to make DLC and new content and everything. And they have told us a long time ago now that they are working on new content for the game, and still we are yet to see or even hear anything about it. But the main reason I'm doing this video is because of the developer news Thursday from July 29th. And if we take a look at the patch news, the latest patch is still causing us a bit of a headache with regards to a crash on boot issue. These problems are as frustrating for us as they are for you having to wait. We really want to get this patch into your hands for you to try out, and so that we can progress the follow-up patches and improvements, which we are sure you will also greatly appreciate. But we need to temper that desire with a need to ensure that the patch foundation is solid and stable. So after 4 months of now what's pretty much weekly patches, or every 2 weeks there is a new patch, they still can't get the foundation for their patches stable. And it should have been stable before the game even launched. So there are huge issues right now, because the reason there is a crash on boot issue is because of their previous patch. They didn't want to release it, they rushed to release it just to get a few fixes out there, especially for the Xbox signing in issue, which has plagued the game for I'm going to say at least a month or two now. It's been going on for a while. But now they released a patch, and there was an issue in testing of the game just constantly crashing. They released it regardless, and it's just caused nothing but more issues for themselves. And I mean, it was probably the best thing to do. Holding back the patch, people would have got frustrated, and not only that, they wouldn't have had the analytics and all of the data to find out where this issue lies. But releasing the patch, and now taking at least a week after and still not knowing what to do about it, that's where their problem is. They're too slow at finding issues in the code that they have created to develop this game. A company should never have big issues with things like that. It took them 10 weeks to release an update to fix something. It took them 9 weeks to change a bit of coding around the system they had already used. They are far too slow within their development, and I'm not saying it's an easy task. Sometimes it can take that amount of time, but they need to put more hands on deck. They are currently focusing on 2 other games that they're set to release within the next few years. They need to drop them ideas and focus solely on Outriders, because this game has had nothing but neglect. It's never going to pick up in a massive way ever again. Even a new content drop, DLC, a full-on expansion to the game, that's only going to bring in maybe a small way, a small fraction into a 5-figure player count increase. And that's only going to last, I don't know, maybe a week or two. And until the DLC's done, then it's just going to drop off drastically again, exactly how Avengers is going to go. Avengers might have 7k concurrent players. This time next week, or like a week after you see this video, have a look and they'll be back down to 2,000 or 3,000 players because the content they release isn't enough. It doesn't come often enough because gamers are greedy, gamers are demanding. We all want more content as fast as we can get it. But when a game like Outriders has been out for 4 months and not had any content drops, still having major issues, people just don't care for that stuff anymore. The worst thing, in my opinion, is the fact that they have said, if I can find it in this list, they said under the general news, I'll leave a link in the description so you guys can go and have a look at it in full yourselves. However, it does just have a few bullet points for patch news, general news, and then they've got their ongoing list of currently tracked issues, which is just, I don't even know if it's getting bigger and bigger. It looks as though nothing's changed on that list for a couple of weeks. But the first bullet point under general news, we are really looking forward to getting this patch out to you and seeing what kind of fun you can get up to with the new build options. There are no new build options. They've simply buffed a couple of things within the character class based skills. So you're just going to switch out a skill you're using. You're not going to change your build completely. So the fact they're excited to see that sort of stuff when they haven't made enough changes for that to be a really big focus. You can just tell they've lost, they never had a vision for after launch. The only point they saw up to was releasing the game and getting the sales coming in. They never focused on the future of the game, and the amount of times they sat there and said, yeah, if people want an expansion on the story, we've got all these ideas. We know what we've got to do post-launch, and they haven't had a clue, and they probably never will. They just saw, we've created this game, we're going to release it, possibly spend some time coming up with a DLC at some point after launch, and that is it. They didn't have a clue what this game was going to be like. It was never tested properly or anything like that. The demo build was very solid, then the full game come out, and it's been an absolute shambles through and through. So yes, I fully believe it's the end of Outriders. I think if they are to release a DLC or any form of content, say it's even within the next 2 to 6 months or something, it's only going to bring in a handful of players. More than likely, if they drop a sale with it at the same time, they might pick up a few more numbers. A few thousand more. Especially if they have 50% off or more. But the thing is, they're also going to, this a double-edged sword for them, because they release it, people are happy. There's more stuff to do on the game, but at the same time, if they charge money for it, a lot of people aren't going to pay into it. And if they release it free, they're losing out on money. They've shot themselves in the foot with the release of this game. And that's why I believe it's over for Outriders. That we might not ever actually see any new content, because I believe it's just going to dent their pockets more than anything else. But let me know your thoughts and stuff about it in the comments. Remember, it's all opinion. This is just what I think. I'm not saying any of this is 100% factual, and it's not all 100% made up. It's just me looking at things through experience, putting my opinions out there. But let me know your thoughts and stuff about it in the comments. I will see you in the next video. I hope you guys enjoyed it.